Now, we're keeping the stop pushed for a little bit till we crank it a little.
Get oil pressure up.
So.
Are you entirely sure about that? Flickers on and off for some reason. It shows 20 pounds on the gauge down here. It could be that new sender. The pressure's different on it with the light out. Well, you'll have to excuse the mess, but the old 4020 here looks a little different than the last time you seen it. Namely the fact that there's an extra white filter over here on this side. Now, pop quiz time. What does that little white filter mean in that 3-inch piece of pipe? Yep. The old 4020. Oh, yeah. Those are going on it because these are about wore out. Anyhow, sorry, the old 4020 is now sporting an M&W kit. Yes, sir. Shot a video earlier. We had started it up and got to listen to it a little bit. And boy, she sounds good. She sounds real good. You'll get to hear that here in just a few minutes. But yeah, just kind of give you a winter update on this tractor, I guess. We'll start with the tires here since they're closest. These have been on it for the 10, 12 years we've owned it. She's getting a new set of Galaxy Earth Pros in 18438 8 plies. There's a lot of back and forth about these tires. Some people love them, some people hate them. Honestly, we've had really good luck out of them. We've got a set of them on our Windy 2510, and we put those on in 2014 or 2015 on that 2510, and I'll tell you what, for as much running up and down the road as what we do, they're lasting very, very well. So, you know, I really don't have any complaints about them. You know, they're rather affordable. I'm not necessarily going to call them cheap because they're not built cheap. They're holding up good for us. Anyhow, enough about the tires. We did new load shaft seals in it. That's what all this mess underneath the ass end of it is. That's where they've been working on that. I've kind of missed a lot of the fun working on this tractor where I'm working so far away, and Dad's got so much time to work on it here. But anyhow, it's still muddy from picking corn. I've got all those videos that I need to splice together and make into one and put up for you guys. Honestly, most of it is me riding around on Hank, the LP tractor, dragging this one around. And I didn't get a lot of footage dragging this one around, but it's what I did a lot of, because, you know, I mean, Ray Charles could tell that those tires are just about wore out and not biting very good anymore. But anyway, we've got a T-fitting here because we've also got a external oil pressure gauge, just kind of one of them cheapy add-ons. We've got our T-fitting in there, and that line running up to the M&W turbo filter. We had to take a couple street L's and move our feed line over to clear the filter, and even at that, it's tight. And we discovered it's leaking a little bit, so we've got to put either put another, right here it is. We got to need to get another one of these and put in here, and then that'll move that line back some, which we've got enough room this way. But need to put that on there with some Teflon tape, seal tape, which will help that out a good bit. We've also got to put one of those fittings here, because that thing, I can't move it right now, but it's leaked since we got this tractor put back together. Got a new oil pressure sender for an idiot light. And we just, that one had already been tapped into, and don't tell Dad, but I'm not real thrilled with how clean or rather unclean this all looks. See, when we got this tractor, they had a gauge with some street L fittings actually plumbed in right there, and it was actually, I'm pretty sure the gauge just said Deutz Alice on it. Didn't even have any numbers on it, and they had it plumbed in right there. So when we did away with that and put this gauge on, we just plugged that one off and ran with this one. Which, I mean, that one's, it's doing okay. It's old. It's showing its age, but it's fine. It works, and it gives us a number to read. In the video, and this is a little embarrassing, but in the video that I took earlier today, which I will tag on to the end of this one, the oil pressure light kept flickering on and off, but the gauge was still reading pretty good. Did you know Did you know that when you add an M&W oil filter and do a full service and an oil change on one of these, that you've got to crank it over and let it fire and then let it sit and check the oil again? Yeah, we were about 3 quarts low. Oops, that's embarrassing. But we got it all taken care of, and it's all good now. Another thing we did, speaking of the idiot lights, which this wiring here on the alternator has always just kind of been that way. Still got the tail end of the test light hooked up to it, because we'd been working on that and trying to figure it out. Finally did get it all figured out, and the idiot lights work properly now. I'm not gonna start it, but you turn the key and both of them come on. You turn it off and they both go off. We actually salvaged these lights out of a 7700 combine. Of course, that one's obviously the charge indicator. That one is for transmission pressure, and you know, it's not technically right, but it fits, and it is an oil pressure light, and it gets the point across, and we're not complete idiots. We know what that means. So, and also too, I'm standing on the ground trying to show this to you guys. It's got all brand new, except for the transmission pressure, all brand new gauges. And well, to be quite honest with you, I'm not 100% sure if they work or not. The transmission pressure gauge still works and the tachometer works, although I think it needs some time to wear in because it's kind of slow to respond. But it does work. We didn't have it run long enough to build any heat, so the transmission temperature and the engine temperature gauge, they should work. In theory, they should work. And Dad got a new sender for it. Can't remember where we were, what show we were at, but he got a new fuel gauge sender. Haven't put it in yet because the fuel level is still about right here. And well, you do the math on that. So anyhow, I'll quit yapping, and I will go ahead and let you watch the video that I took earlier today. And oh, sorry, one more thing. We've got an old muffler here. Actually, this one came off of, what did this one come off of? This one was on the 3010 utility when we got it. The can on it, I mean, it looks kind of rough, but it's in good shape. The bottom of it here is, oops, bottom of it here is all screwed up, so that makes it a perfect candidate for what we want to do, which is we're going to cut the whole entire bottom of it out. Okay, we're going to cut the top of it out and just basically use the can. And then when the end goal is that when you look at this tractor, the original factory muffler is in place and it looks like it should be there. I've seen some of these done, you know, where guys do them and then they've got just a short piece of pipe, and then the bottom of the can of the muffler is right here, sticking way up above the hood. To me, it looks awful, and Dad agrees. You know, the way these were meant to look is with the whole can of the muffler sticking up out of the hood. The only hurdle we're going to have to jump over is the fact that number one, it's not centered in the hole, which that's not a big deal. It's just something we'll have to work around. And where the flare in this pipe is, that's where the top of the turbo elbow stops. So let's go back over here to this muffler. As far as I know, it should work. We're gonna do our damnedest to make it work, especially since we've got some offset we can deal with. So basically, the bottom of this, instead of it being right here, is going to be further up the can on the inside. Okay. What that will allow us to do is use a stub, piece of stub pipe off of that, have it tucked up in here, still be able to get in and tighten our clamp, and then have a factory looking can. Now I said we're going to cut the top of it off. We're not going to cut the top out of it. We're just going to get rid of basically all this, and then the outlet on that muffler is going to be 3 or 3.5 inch, probably 3 inch. And then what we'll do on this one is kind of like what we did on the 2510. We're going to basically make a muffler that's not really much of a muffler, but enough to knock down the bark a little bit. Which this tractor right now, as it is with that straight pipe, isn't obnoxiously loud, but it's loud enough that I wouldn't want to run it for 10 hours a day like it is. So, and as we go along, I'll try my best to show you as we go along making the muffler for this thing. Of course, and another thing that's making this tractor look weird right now is we don't have the air stack on it. So yeah, it's looking a little weird just because of that, but we get that back on it and get an appropriate looking can, or get an appropriate looking muffler on it. From this side, the only telltale sign that it's got a turbo on it is going to be that white filter for the M&W. So anyhow, just wanted to give you guys an update. I felt it was time to do one, and so yeah, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Thanks.